Hello and welcome to Will Watches. This is Monster. So this is directed by Hirokazu Koreeda, who also did Broker, which is a film I really want to see as well, because that has Kang Ho Song from Parasite in and from Memories of Murder. That's a film I really want to see as well. I've heard really good things about this. This is more of a reaction for me. It's a film I really want to see more than it is a movie I think will do well on the channel. If it does well, fine, but I don't really know what the demand is for a reaction to this film. I'm doing this for me more than anything. I'm going in almost 100% blind here, only having seen like the poster. All I've seen is about two kids, you know, that's it. And there's the title Monster. Is it a monster movie? Is there a physical monster? Is the monster a metaphor for one of the kids? Is the monster a metaphor for something else? I don't know. Let's find out. So before we jump into this, be sure to check out the Patreon page. Over there you can find 1 week early access. You can get next week's video right now. You can also find polls so you can vote for what's next. Full-length timer-based versions of these reactions where you can sync up your own footage and watch along with me. And we've got some exclusive Studio Ghibli reactions over there too. So yeah, let's just jump right in. Oh, this is Toho. Toho is kind of notorious for taking down reactions. So this might be very heavily edited then, okay. We'll see. Ooh, ambulances, something happening. Or fire engines. Ooh, love that with the music, the cityscape, yeah. Don't know, I was just thinking, we're seeing a kid looking at a fire engine. Are they going to his home and something's happened to his family or something? Juxtaposition with the beautiful music, just the piano music as well though. Ooh. There is a real beauty in fire as well, like the embers flowing away there, with how destructive it is on the other hand. Ooh. Poor Thing's reaction was last week. He's contemplating humanity, what makes people human though. Yeah, he's trying to act grown, he's still a kid. Of course, it's become the talk of the town. As in died in there, or just, oh, a teacher at the hostess bar, yeah. I wonder if there'll be conspiracy over if it was insurance or people think it was arson. If it's a hostess bar, you could imagine someone doing it on purpose, becoming jealous or something. Ooh, shaved his head? Oh, he's been forced to cut his hair by school. Wow. Oh, lost dad, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. We haven't seen him. Oh, was a rugby player or something? So he was too young to remember anything. Okay, I'll keep an eye out for symbolism with animals that could be him being reborn. Oh. Found his bike. It was very sudden. Yeah, the cut to nighttime and he's missing. You know, she was talking about talk to your dad, talk about the friends that you have. Is he a bit of an outcast at school? That's why he didn't want her to hear him talk about his friends, because he doesn't have many. See, I have no idea the genre of this. It's getting a bit spooky. Who's the monster? You know, would this be a horror? I was just assuming like kind of slice of life a bit. What the hell is he doing down here? And he's saying, who is the monster? Is he looking for a monster? Wants to be like dad. Rugby player's kind of strong and brave. What? What the hell is he doing? Okay, he's fine, but... Wants to be like dad because dad is dead? Is that what he meant? Yeah, not quite guessing the motivation on why he's running away in the sewers and then jumping out cars. Is it just because, is he a social outcast? I don't know, to me he seems pretty cool. Hair and style. Physically fine, but maybe not mentally. Was it not to do with the school uniform? I just trusted him on that. Okay. He thinks he's a monster. His brain doesn't feel right. Oh, the teacher himself. Wow. The teacher that's off at the hostess club. That's quite nice seeing the principal getting hands dirty, doing some cleaning and manual labor as well. Oh, because he can't. Okay, he called him a pig's brain because he's slow at picking up the schoolwork. That wasn't the fire we saw, was it? But yeah, it seemed like the principal wasn't even listening. Yeah, lost that even before elementary school. She had quite a nice house and car for just being... Is it just a laundry shop she was working in? Maybe dad had a bit of money before he went. Is this Mr. Hori? Yeah, she doesn't really know how to react. It's just an apology, no action, no steps in place to change. They need to apologize to him as well, don't they? Not just her. Yeah, it was an insult, not an instruction. Yeah, she just wants straight answers. Obviously, it's a bit of the kind of Japanese politeness, isn't it? Yeah, contact between hand and nose. Such a sanitized version of it, isn't it? Yeah, there is this like professionalism and politeness, which she obviously isn't having any of it. Yeah, Mr. Hori doesn't really care. If it were me, I think it's time to put him in a new school, to be honest. If that's their response. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a real insight into her personality. If she's like that with random kids, how do you expect her to treat her students? He just didn't move from that spot. Yeah, it could have got worse after her having a conversation.
2年生の時、湊が参観日に作文読んだんです。僕の夢はシングルマザーになることだって。
Shows he looks up to her.
じゃないよ。謝ってほしいんじゃないよ。
Yeah, she's asking for change. You can see the lack of eye contact as well, you know.
こっちだって子供のこと心配してきてるんだし。一人の人間として向き合ってもらえますか？ご意見は真摯に受け止め。
It's just this constant phrase, we accept your opinion, yeah. The kind of corporate talk, isn't it?
私はただ当たり前のことを当たり前にお願いします。
Oh. I mean, at least there's a bit of openness.
あ、わかった。あんたが店に火つけたんじゃないの？放火したんじゃないの？
Oh, I think it's him. If Minato is bullying someone, you know, it can be a response to things. So if Mr. Hori is getting to him first, that could be why he's lashing out. Even though it's not what you want to hear that he's a bully, it's a straight answer at least, you know, it's something more than what she was guessing before. A box cutter? No, a lighter. Still not what you want to see your kid having. Yeah, a little head movement, he knew what it was. Is this the boy he's supposedly bullying? Oh, much younger as well. Yeah, he seems quite positive about Minato actually. From on the poster, I think it's these two playing, isn't it? Don't know, it didn't seem like a bully dynamic, but maybe it was one chasing the other on the poster, not just them running around. Or is it Mr. Hori misinterpreting their relationship somehow? Notice his shirt. It says working class. And then he's got an Eames chair in the background. Ooh. Yeah, on his neck as well, up there. Ooh. You don't want her to be too close because it feels like she's pressuring him. And they're just trying to cover it up, yeah. Oh, wow. That's an awful situation. Yeah, surely you want to protect even more kids, even... Whoa, a big conference. It's become a big story, yeah. Become a whole news story as well. I mean, you probably don't want that huge publicity, but it is good to have some, not closure with it a bit, but, you know, more progress with it. Mr. Hori's still here. Yeah, they had that big conference just for Mr. Hori admitting and explaining. I thought it was something bigger had happened. He's okay. But he's just run off out the window. I'm still a little suspicious, like, even though we had Mr. Hori admitting to everything, Minato could still have been bullying because we saw the burn mark on the other boy, and obviously Minato had the lighter, but that could be, you know, pushback from his own bullying.
お父さんいた。いつもありがとう。大好きだよって。
Hmm.
港は何に生まれ変わるかな。
Yeah, we haven't seen any animals, symbolism of animals. When an animal does show up, I'll keep my eye out. Might be Dad. Just the tap, not a leak. I know too much about leaks. Oh, he's gone. In the storm as well. Oh? Monster again. Oh. Back to the cityscape. It sounded like someone older shouting. Like, did Mr. Hori show up at their house?
夜景ってみんな綺麗綺麗って言うけどあれ電球でフィラメントだよ
Another fire. Okay, so we know this one isn't him. Oh no, we're flashing back to that night. Okay.
ほらほら何撮ってるのはい帰んなさい
Yeah, rumors from the hostess bar. That's...
持ち帰りじゃない
The kids just took a video or photo of him, so he does have an alibi.
あいつらちゃんと帰ったかな
So, are we now getting the story from his perspective?
僕は身体ともに健康だよ
ご職見つけて出版社に手紙を送る趣味持った人が
Or is he just in a relationship with someone who works at a hostess bar?
生徒も多分弾いてると思うよ笑ってみ
I mean, if something happens here, like a breakup or something, maybe that explains why he's more lashing out on his students. It's kind of maybe showing reasons for like the cycle of violence kind of thing.
はい星川どうしたの
See, if the film started from this point, from that perspective, he seems like a nice guy. Yeah, now we can actually see what's happened in the classroom rather than just hearing about it secondhand.
堀先生が言うとストーカーっぽいですよ夢中になるのはキャバクラだけにしましょうね
Little jab, people know.
何してんの上着やめなさいあごめん
Oh, so it was an accident? So that was actually an accident, but just the way they talked about it in the meeting, you know, it's still so sterile. He could have just immediately apologized and said there was an accident. I like elbowed him and he got a nosebleed because I was trying to restrain him when he was throwing stuff around, but instead they just went about it the complete wrong way.
誤解があるのは説明します。話が大きくなったら困るの。保護者の扱いは僕らのが慣れてるからね。
Yeah, it feels like it's kind of the bureaucracy that's the problem here, because he was ready to apologize and explain it all quite up front easily.
校長はこの学校大好きですか近所なんですけど例のあれ本当は校長先生なんじゃないかって噂あるんですよ
Oh, really? She distracted him while he was reversing or something?
駐車場で孫を引いたの
Or she was actually in the car. And that's why she's been so vacant and distant, yeah. Yeah, what was his evidence for the bullying?
そこにあっ
Oh, looking for his shoes. I was thinking, if he finds the lighter and sees the burn mark on him, then he thinks it's Minato. Oh, he actually went to their house.
先生か。よりくんのことでお話がございまして。
Dad's a bit of an alcoholic or something?
学校の先生って給料安いらしいね。
So it might all be Dad.
化け物ですよ。はい。
Oh,
その中に人間じゃなくて豚の脳みそが入ってるの。
he picked that up from him, from Yuri's dad.
息子。
なんだこれ先生かありがとう
Even if it is bullying, he seems to be handling it really well, Yoshiyawa. Yeah, what was this we saw a glimpse of?
見たんだよね麦野くんが猫で遊んでるところ
Hmm. Yeah, really recontextualizing everything, making you consider, you know, your biases, what perspective you look at things through.
木田さんちょっと来て。この間先生に教えてくれたこと。
And that might not be right that Minato had killed a cat though, or was just playing with it.
麦野が猫を殺したかもって話だよ。
私そんな話してません
But that influences his opinion of him, why he thinks he's a bully.
何やってんすか。
Oh, and we heard that before, didn't we? We heard that crashing.
先生が怖いと感じたことはありますか？
Wow.
怒鳴られたり、強く捕ま
I don't know how much you can trust kids with that though. You know, filling out a survey like that.
本当は誰が運転したんですか。
Oh. Why did you ask that?
あなたには校長って立場があるから名前出たら困るから。ご主人に身代わりになってもらったんでしょう。
She's used to shifting blame onto him when he hasn't really done anything either.
ちょっとこの後の仕事残っててどうもこんばんは
Press, yeah, because it's becoming a whole thing in the newspapers and everything.
お話伺いたいんですけれどもよろしいでしょうか
本当やめてもらっていいですか。
And now we can't tell the truth to the news because if he says he's already apologized for it, so that's accepting the fact that he did actually do wrong, which he hasn't really.
確かにいろいろあったけどさ。
さっきの写真私写ってなかったよね
つってでも新聞の。
Yeah, she's in the background of the photos, and then that becomes even more of a story. Yeah, a bit of a Dutch angle here. Everything's off. Oh, people have found his address.
麦野。麦野。麦野。
Oh yeah, don't chase him down. You already know the perception that you have. So was he at the school unapproved then? Wasn't he as a teacher? Because she was saying, wasn't he fired?
何もしてないよね。
Yeah, we never actually saw him do the pig brain insult to him. So is he just picked it up off of Yuri?
鳥線に突き落とされた
And they just say Hori pushed him. What is he doing? Obviously he's having a bit of a episode here. Mentally he's not okay. Yeah, I mean his life is just ruined if he's lost his job here. Smeared in the press. And we don't know what actually happened. I guess it would be in the news if he jumped. Oh no, there he is. Okay.
麦野港。星か。
Is that left a hidden message?
麦野！麦野！
And this is it, yeah, when we heard him shouting outside, caught up. And it just looks deranged from her perspective, him showing up like that. Yeah, of course, because he wasn't in his bed, was he? Oh, back in this tunnel, yeah. Yeah, he's always constantly talking about being reborn. Does that mean he thinks he will be reborn? Not being a monster. Are they there? Okay. Back to principal. You know, we had that change of perspective to Mr. Hori. I wonder if we'll get another change of perspective, maybe to the principal here. I was kind of hoping to Koshiwara to Yori, seeing his perspective maybe. Okay, so we have flashed back a bit. It was Minato. Oh no! It was Yuri. And then back here, kind of restarting again. I don't really like this, the multiple perspectives. Yeah, they'd shared it online. There's those kids filming Mr. Yori earlier. Or are we more getting it from Minato's perspective rather than the mum's? Yes, it's other kids that are bullying him. But Minato still kind of went along with it, didn't defend him. Gosh, you are. He's always so happy, isn't he? He takes it on the chin really well. My disease, the whole pig brain thing that he's picked up from his dad. The hair touching. Thinking of the cutting the hair before as well, you know? I know they're only young, but the hair touching is there, something more between them. And he doesn't want to be seen with him, obviously. Yuri is being bullied. So if they're seen together, it's seen as like a... Yeah, he wants to stay distant. Or is he cutting his hair there as a... because he was saying, don't catch my disease, the pig brain disease. Yes, the other kid's egging him on. She might be keen in all of this. She's observing everything. Although she did say about the cat, didn't she? And then he acts up as the distraction. Yeah, lashes out, gets the blame. He was just protecting him. Yeah, the whole shoe thing. He gives him a shoe because he didn't have any, yeah. This is where they were looking for them before, this abandoned train. It's like their secret base, you know, something cool as a kid. Look how saturated everything is here as well. It is lovely. A cool place, the abandoned train line.
も手伝うからで何を作るんだ答えは
But when he's in school, he doesn't want to be seen as with him as friends.
死んだら猫じゃなくなるの。
死んだら何でもそうだよこのままだと生まれ変われないから
Oh, so he was playing with it because, or what was seen as playing with it because he wanted it to be reborn. Yeah, saw into that. That whole thing about his obsession with being reborn. Great setup for motivation, you know. Cremated just like Dad.
消防車は来るかも
And this is his experiment.
石川君がガールズバー燃やしたの。ガールズバーにお父さんがいたから。
I was thinking that.
お酒を飲むのは健康に良くないんだよ
Doesn't answer the question, avoids it. Yeah, and it's the other kids.
出たか
Yeah, just so many misunderstandings, ways different things are framed, recontextualized.
治ったらお母さん帰ってくるって
病気じゃないと思う。
Does the dad blame him for the mum leaving then?
宇宙って壊れるの？
時間が戻るんだよ
Yeah, it feels like the saturation has been cranked up a bit for these scenes when they're together. Maybe kind of childlike perspective, you know, the world's brighter.
人間は猿になって恐竜が復活して
Or just saying they actually enjoy their time together as well. Yeah, it's so nice when it isn't in the storm, in the downpour.
買いますだ
Oh, so when they say who's the monster, it's this game that they're playing. Yeah, I was thinking,
気づくかな？
気づかないでしょ
yeah, he left the message. Was there more to that? It was just their two names together. It's not our friends as well, another little bit.
考え事してたなんかさ転校するみたいなんだよね
Oh, then if he's changing schools, that's why he went along with it and blamed everything on Mr. Hori so he could change schools with him. That makes sense. Wow.
待って、どいて、どいて。
And he's just abandoned him there with a bad foot.
おい、みんなパスパス。パスパス。パスパスパス。
Yeah, doesn't play along.
お前星川のこと好きなの？
Yeah. Not sure what to make of it because when he's running away from his sexuality and then he has to prove it the other way. I'm not sure. Well, that's one interpretation. It's not something confirmed by the film. And then because they don't just explain it to Mr. Hori, he only sees some of the picture. What's with the ear pulling though? We never fully saw that, did we? Ooh, bought flowers. Oh yeah, his mum looking for him. Of course it is. Yeah, this scene. Oh, and Yuri was right behind her. It's like their secret base has been found out.
僕ね、お父さんみたいにはなれない。
Can't be like Dad. Doesn't feel manly enough. Oh yeah, and the CT scan, it shows he's got a human brain, not a pig brain. And all of this has kind of kept him away from Yori.
僕ね、病気治った。
Oh,
心配かけたけどさ、普通になったんだよ。
もともと普通だよ。
おばあちゃん家の近くにな好きな子がいるんだよな。
yeah. So saying he's cured, and then the reason he's cured is because he likes a girl now.
ごめん、嘘。
Yeah.
困ったことがあったら何でも。
And Yori just wasn't in at all.
ごめんなさい。
誰に謝ってるの？
Oh,
堀先生は悪くないです。
yeah. She kind of already knows that perhaps.
僕嘘つきました。
一緒だ。
She's admitting to the crash.
昔は全国大会にも出てた。吹奏楽部だったの。
Oh yeah, this is what I'd heard the instruments. I assumed it was just kids playing. This is while Mr. Hori's up on the roof.
こっち向き。
Or she's just teaching him.
あんまりわからないんだけどね。好きな子がいるの。
Okay.
人に言えないから嘘ついてる。
Can't tell anyone, so I lie. Yeah, I just before I was also didn't want to assume, but it seems pretty certain now that they are into each other. There's especially that moment in the train carriage where they were kind of looking at each other kind of close, and when they like hugged there and Yuri was looking at him.
誰かにしか手に入らないものは幸せって言わない。しょうもないしょうもない。
She's telling him to embrace it.
でも手に入るものを幸せって言うの。
I love how all the small details in the backgrounds come back up, like the noise of this. We'd heard scuffling before and things breaking before, and we got context for that. So much attention to detail.
シカ君。
He's not at home, so we'll go to the train car. Because we never actually saw if they were in there or not when Mum was there with Mr. Hori. Can't even move. Oh, Billy clothed in here as well. And yeah, all the bruises on his back. It's all from Dad, not from Minato.
無事だ。
本当だ。
It can't be waterproof though. You know, the whole abandoned train. No way that's still watertight. Oh, that's Yori's dad. Oh, they're actually leaving. Right, it's quite hard to see what's happening. Are they in... back in the tunnel? Oh, but the rain stopped here. It feels like they're in a little oasis as they've climbed out.
生まれ変わったのかな。
そういうのはないと思う。
Oh?
ないか。
ないよ。元のままだよ。
そっか、よかった。
Were we reborn? Did they die in there and were reborn? They're kind of crawling through a tunnel towards a light, and then suddenly the weather's so much better. Just leaves it on that. Okay, so that was Monster. That was phenomenal. I really loved, it reminded me a lot actually of Anatomy of a Fall, how you learn more information and things get recontextualized as the film goes along, and you kind of judge the characters but then learn more information and judge them different ways. You know, it's kind of split into three parts, split up by that one scene where we see the city from a distance with the fire going on and everything, and it's like the first part you view Mr. Hori as this kind of unprofessional, kind of lazy. You know, even when there's a part where he came into the school and it was just like his PE uniform, I think, what he was wearing to teach the kids PE. But because I saw that and he was like, I'm like, why is he not, you know, dressed more professionally? Your kind of biases there really show. And then like you also have the principal, who you kind of see as this kind of like heartless monster, yeah. And by the end, you know, we get more insight into it. And I think the whole script is so tight as well, the screenplay. There's so many kind of callbacks and things. You know, we have hearing them playing the brass instruments, and you're just hearing that in the background, and you're like, oh, it's a school, so you're assuming it's a school, there's kids learning music or something. But actually it cuts back to that scene, and there's so many little details in the background, little noises in the background. You hear things crashing, and then later on you see what caused that crash. Those things all tie together in a really nice knot. Is really satisfying to see as well. And then you've got the friendship / relationship here. You know, it was something where I was like, oh, is it a queer relationship? Are they into each other? Are they just friends? It was like the holding of the hair was like the first point where I was like, oh, is there something more here? But then, you know, that could also be he's cutting it off because he thinks it's contagious. And a lot of the film is kind of Yuri being accepting of his sexuality, but Minato kind of running away from it. I mean, we literally see him run away at some points. He's like running away from it, hiding from it. You can see when he does help out Yuri, he does get teased for it, and they're like, oh, are you into each other? Which they are, but they're getting teased for it at school, you know. But I also was like, it didn't necessarily have to be the case, you know. Two guys can just be friends without it being kind of homoerotic. And I was just like, I had a suspicion, but I wasn't quite sure. And then of course later on, when it's the dad is calling Yuri pig-brained because of his sexuality, and then he says, oh, I've cured him, and it's because he's lying and said he's got a crush on this girl. And then there you're like, oh, okay, no, it is actually they're into each other. And then Minato, you know, admitting that to the principal as well. And then the ending there, they leave it with some ambiguity. In my mind, I think maybe they had died, maybe drowned or something in the storm, because I don't know, the kind of symbolism of crawling through a tunnel, coming out and it being light, kind of crawling towards the light, and also just the rain suddenly stopping and it being so bright that it doesn't happen that quick. It doesn't align like that, especially with seeing the other shots of like the principal looking out over the city and a few shots before that. And then obviously the comment of being reborn. Do you think we've been reborn? Then Minato says, actually, we're the same right now. It's obviously left ambiguous, but personally, I think they probably did. And that because it was so bright, and then the kind of fade to white at the end as well, that feels very kind of fading to heaven kind of thing. That's what that feels like to me. But I think it's also symbolic of them, you know, accepting their love for each other and their sexuality. And they did come out of the cave of everything into this kind of bright future where they're happy and they're playing with each other and they're like accepting of each other and themselves in a way. And then that comment on, do you think we've been reborn? No, I think we're the same. It's maybe you could interpret that as, actually, yeah, we are still the same. I have always liked you kind of thing. Even though Minato, he tried to hide it for a long time and tried to hide it because of ridicule from friends or ridicule from school kids and bullying and stuff. And he purposely pushed Yuri away. It feels like a coping mechanism you see quite a lot, where they push them away because they don't know how to deal with the emotions themselves, you know? And yeah, again, back to the changing perspectives, the way things change so much, how you view Mr. Hori, you know? At the start, you view him and you think he's kind of incompetent and is quite young as a teacher, so that probably contributes to that view. And then you're hearing the rumors spreading about his like hostess escapades. He's going to hostess bars, but in reality his girlfriend just works at a hostess bar, and that's what I've seen like that relationship was actually like, that dynamic was actually like. Not the case that, I don't know how they met, but it seemed like maybe it could be that they already knew each other before, were in a relationship, and then she got that job, you know. But even if it's not, you know, there's nothing wrong with meeting someone and falling for them, even if that's their line of work, as long as they're happy together, you know. And then it's got me thinking back to the title Monster, how you view certain characters and their mistakes as potentially malicious when maybe they aren't, and they get recontextualized later. And I think the whole thing is there actually aren't any monsters. There are no monsters. It's just the way you view things, and people make mistakes. They tell lies. Minato tells a lie that gets Mr. Hori fired. Like, that's a huge, obviously he's a kid, but that is a huge consequence of that lie. From the context, you can understand why he is told that lie, and of course you blame him less because of his age and inexperience in the world as well. And it's really funny, this kind of structure. Recently I was just thinking about war films, and because I'd watched Zone of Interest and how you portray things, and I had a very similar idea to the way this is structured in a way. Spoilers for in 10 years when I become a film director and I've got a war film coming out, of like, you could take this kind of structure and apply it to a war film. If you had a war film where things were kind of ambiguous, or they were imaginary in terms of you not know, it's not based on the real world in terms of whose side is who's on what side, you could have a non-linear story. I don't know if this has already been done. You could have a non-linear story where it follows two people, and then kind of the twist is that they're actually both on opposite sides of this war, of a conflict, and have to fight each other in the end. And that was just kind of a little thought experiment idea that I had. And then you'd have another perspective of kind of the upper generals, and it's kind of the consequence of the politicians and their actions that cause these two people who are just kind of regular civilians who maybe don't want to fight, have to fight each other and potentially kill each other. That was just like an idea, a thought experiment I had, thinking of like an anti-war film, and because I'd watched Zone of Interest like very recently. And it's funny how this comes along and how things get recontextualized. And I was thinking, like, depending on what side of a conflict you show first, audiences might be more biased towards what they see first, and things can be recontextualized. Or are you more biased to characters that you spend more time with? How do you balance that out? It was just something I was thinking about, and it kind of applies here. Is quite interesting, just how, you know, different perspectives, and you can gain more information. Again, it's very similar to Anatomy of a Fall, where in Anatomy of a Fall you're almost acting as the jury, and you are absorbing all of this information. You're presented with new information, and you're never given a final judgment. You kind of make that judgment yourself. And again, it's an ambiguous ending here, where some people could view it as symbolism for them coming out. It could be symbolism for them dying and being reborn, and they're like in heaven. Or it could just be take it at face value, and the storm stopped and they were alive, and because he said, oh, we're the same as what we were before, we haven't been reborn, that they are just alive. But even though it could be a kind of dark, cruel ending, it still feels positive, even if they had died, because it's such a kind of story about humanity that we're seeing all of these different people. You judge them initially, but once you get to know them more, you get insight into their character, into their problems, what's caused them to be the way that they are, why their actions are happening, and why miscommunications and misinterpretations can change things, and how people can view themselves as monsters. Other people can view people as monsters, but in reality, there are no monsters. It's a really nice message. So I think that's everything. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below about the ending, the ambiguity of the ending, what you thought had happened there. And if you really love this, be sure to subscribe so you can keep up to date on all the future uploads. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys later.